Maybe this is you. You kind of just do what you feel like, and you don't have like a structure in your life. Every day is like, oh, should I do this, or should I talk to a friend, or should I study, or should I play video games, or should I do all this random garbage? Should I scroll on TikTok? You don't have a structured life, and ultimately, you feel like you haven't really lived up to your potential, and that can change. So, after following some steps in this video, this is going to be future you. You're going to have a very organized day. You're going to just wake up at the particular time, and you're going to do all the necessary things at that allotted time, and then you're going to achieve everything that you want within your day. And when I say this, I think a lot of people get the impression that I mean you won't have any fun during your day. You can schedule fun and happiness and talking to others within your day, right? It's not just like a work at your job, do some work on the computer all day, right? Because that's probably not a healthy lifestyle. People think that schedules and being organized means that you have less fun because your life is controlled. But arguably, if you are controlling your life, you'll actually have a lot more fun. So that means you can donate specific amounts of time into particular areas. At this time of day, at like 4 p.m. on this day, I will meet up with a friend and I will have some fun. We'll go shopping or something, or we'll go eat some food. So please don't be the person who's like, oh no, I bet you don't have any fun because you're stupid and you have your day organized. Like, no. So here's how you make the perfect schedule, okay? I know a lot of people will tell you that this is the perfect schedule, that's the perfect schedule. I'm telling you, make it yourself. Each person has a different, unique lifestyle, right? Maybe you're in school, maybe you have a job, maybe you have another part-time gig, maybe you have a side business, or maybe you exercise, and maybe you do sports that have specific days of the week, right? I can't give you my routine and tell you to do it because that just wouldn't make sense. But I will tell you all the important steps in creating the perfect schedule. So the first thing you need to do is write down all the tasks that you want in your day. Please do not put doom scrolling. What you want to do is include other things. Let's say you play an instrument, you want to practice, right? So the next thing you want to do is consolidate. You need to consolidate all the fixed tasks. The tasks that are just going to be there every single day. So one of those would be sleeping, right? Have your work in there. So if you have a job or something, you have school, put that in those hours that it takes up, right? Because obviously that's non-negotiable. You can't change that. You are going to want to slot the little things in there individually as you're making the schedule, right? You want your schedule to be as specific as possible. 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I will study chemistry. 4 o'clock to 4:10, I will take a 10-minute break and eat some food. 4:10 to 5 o'clock, I'll apply to some jobs, right? And then 5 o'clock, I will start making dinner while also listening to a book or something. And then at 7 o'clock, this is when I'm going to start doing my business work. So I'm going to start working on my business from 7 to 9, and I'll take a break in there at some point, right? Another key point that I will say, I know some people like to have it on their phone so they always get reminded of their schedule. Personally, I much prefer it as paper. I think you'll remember it better, and it'll, at least in my experience, it kind of ingrains it in your memory more if you just have it on a piece of paper in your room. Ultimately though, the schedule is really nothing. Some people get confused when I say that. What I mean to say is that the schedule itself is not going to do you anything. 100% of the results that you get from having a schedule also come from you putting in the work and doing what your schedule says. So if your schedule says, okay, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., I'm going to work on my business, the schedule itself isn't going to work on the business. You have to do it. You just have to say, hey, okay, it's 7 p.m., I'm going to work on the business, instead of saying it's 7 p.m., well, I can always work on it tomorrow. You will make all of the change yourself. The schedule is just there to remind you. Because if you don't put in the effort, it's just a piece of paper on the wall. I did talk about breaks a bit. Having breaks is really important, but something people get wrong about breaks is that they always say, I just finished studying, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 10 minutes scrolling. There's a few issues with this. First of all, it's never just going to be 10 minutes. I mean, seriously, nobody says, oh, I'm going to scroll for 10 minutes and then it'll be a whole hour afterwards. The other issue is that it's really just not the best use of time. You have 10 minutes to take a break, but I think what people should be doing within that break time is just doing other productive things. I'm not saying you need to study math for an hour and then take a break by doing some complex physics homework or something, right? But your break should be 10 minutes of taking a walk outside, 10 minutes of talking with a friend, 10 minutes of 10 minutes of eating a snack, right? Something simple that takes your brain off the original task, but it isn't like, oh, I am scrolling on my phone. Or that's how you have a productive break, because you needed to take a snack anyways, right? Eating and snacking is good for you because it gives you energy. You can't focus without it, so it actually benefits you. Whereas compared to if you just scroll, your brain will be so enthralled with the idea of dopamine and scrolling that you won't be able to go back to doing your work. I promise you, this is a game changer. And then my last tip is be adaptable when necessary. Because realistically speaking, things will come up, right? There will be some annoying person who tells you, oh no, we have to do this today, or else I will jump you. And then, you don't really get a choice, right? Which that sucks because it completely messes with your schedule, right? But what I will say is that if this thing isn't 100% necessary, just postpone it, right? Do not break your schedule because somebody else wants you to do something tomorrow. If it can wait, just make it wait. Okay, now that is how you optimize your time with this schedule. Thanks for watching.